I guess we have a really nice dichotomy going on Monday, November 18th. Kyle's in Palm Beach. I'm in Syracuse. I got a jacket on. He's in a t-shirt. But we're both about to be in Virginia to film another More Than Cars episode. But we'll talk about some news on a Monday.
It's it's way easier to like jam when you're standing up.
That one's got vacation vibes going on right now. He's dancing. There's palm trees behind him.
Look, Glenn, he was like, "Where's Paul?" I was like, "Man, we're doing More Than Cars. Like, it's already going to be a lot for me. Like, he's at the house. This is one of the greatest. Scottsdale's cool, but like, you get to come. NAMAD is great down here. You come for this in the winter, in the fall. It is it's such a great vibe, and I love the community that gets created here. Everybody stays on property. It is a really great event. Yeah, kudos to Past Events and the entire team here. Don and the whole team have been just great. Like, it's really incredible to see.
Tell you what, I caught no less than 5 tongue lashings from my family when they realized this was MRC weekend.
Oh, because they always come.
Because my kids start feeling the itch, right? You're like, hey, when are we going to that really nice Florida? That's when they're like, when are we going to that really nice hotel again? I was like, it's actually this weekend. They're like, what? Like Sarah knew, but the kids didn't know. We're like, guys, you can't do everything. We can't
do it all.
I know. Well, that's great. Look, while you're there, why don't you just share one thing from your time there? Because MRC is usually the people who are really paying attention to tech and the next steps. It's the first place I think anybody heard the letter CDP put together in order.
That's right.
Now, so what are the conversations? What's everybody talking about?
Yeah, it goes along with the CDP conversation, but what I found really interesting is everybody's starting to talk about how do we handle the interaction. And we've always had equity mining tools and never really thought critically about how to handle what the percentage and the close rates and the outreach rates and all of that. But now that you have the CDP coming into play and you're really, really thinking critically about what are the opportunities in front of me, it's totally different than a BDC, right? It's not, I need 100 leads to get 15 sales. It's like, I need opportunities and outreach and consistent. And so like, even just the metrics alongside of what's good is hearkening back to original, like, internet days. Now I have leads. What does good look like? So everybody's trying to figure out what good looks like when interacting with these people, whether it be through outbound email and SMS automated or be via real like phone calls and emails from humans, and what type of metrics from like an opportunity to interaction to in the showroom to close rate is good. And so that's been a lot of the conversation on not just once we start doing it, how do we measure it and figure out if it's working?
It reminds me of the conversation we had last week on the webinar where we were trying to talk about what does good look like. And I think that would be a really helpful like white paper or piece of content or topic of conversation going into next year. What does good even look like as we do this?
Yes.
Maybe we'll have a session about that at ASOTUCon.
There you go. I think also by that point, there'll be enough dealers with enough data on it to start to get some baselines.
What reasonable good looks like. Hey, maybe we'll put that on. Listen, if you're not already signed up for it, go to ASOTUCon.com. Make sure you're on the pre-sign up list. It's in May.
That's right.
However, we're about to launch a Black Friday sale where you will get the cheapest tickets you will be able to get, period.
Ever.
If you want to be at ASOTUCon, it was packed last year. It's going to be double packed this year. So we're giving you double packed. It's going to be close. So we want to give you, the people who are on the first to know list, the cheapest tickets possible because they're just going to get more expensive as time goes on. And I'm sure we'll have some fun stuff for the people who get on the list, as soon as possible. We also, so many things, and you got to go. We have a webinar, another one coming up on Friday. Go to ASOTU.com and just check out what the webinar is. We're going to talk about digital merchandising from our friends at Car Cutter. So go check that out. We're going to be talking more about it in the next few days, and we hope you join us. Let's talk about some news.
Let's do it.
Carvana is reimagining its operations through strategic integrations of the ADESA auction network, emphasizing its vertical integration and expansion. Boy, are they on the hunt. The used car retailers converted 3 ADESA sites into multifunctional hubs in 2024 with plans for a 6th site by year end, which introduced Carli, who we're a little familiar with, CARLI, vehicle tracking system, optimizing reconditioning inventory management. We happen to know a couple of people who are on that. Carvana has increased retail gross profit per vehicle to $34.97 in Q3, up 30% year over year. CEO Ernie Garcia is highlighting the company's capacity for processing 3 million vehicles annually with, get this, minimal capital expenditure.
That's nuts.
I know it.
I mean, here the whole key to used cars is process, time to turn, and profitability per vehicle, and they match up perfectly. So if you can nail that, and the distribution hub around ADESA, we always knew that was an opportunity, and they've kind of figured it out over the last year. You start to see these profits rise up 30% when everybody's complaining about squeezing margins, and Carvana's figuring it out. Hey, it's about turn. It's about how do you process the vehicles through the pipeline to get them speed to lot as quick as possible, because that's when your profitability is the best, and it sounds like they're figuring it out.
It sure does. We got to talk to the people at Carli. We know enough dealers that use that platform. We're gonna a little note there. If you know someone at Carli, send them to ASOTU. Like, let them know what's going on over here, because there's a lot of what do they call it? There's a lot of blue sky for them in this ecosystem. But we got to keep gawking. You have a meeting to get to. A recent study from our friends at IC Cars revealed Tesla vehicles have, get this, the highest fatal crash rates among automakers in the U.S., raising questions about how they are driven and their design. Basically, they led with 5.6 deaths per billion miles driven, double the industry average of 2.8. Kia 5.5 and Buick 4.8 followed as the next two in line as highest fatality automakers. The Tesla Model Y recorded a 10.6 fatal crash rate, nearly 5 times the SUV average, while the Model S rate was twice the average. Despite the figures, Tesla scored very high in the crash test ratings. Analyst Carl Brower linked the high crash rates to driver behavior. He says the biggest contributor to occupant safety is avoiding a crash, and the biggest factor in crash avoidance is driver behavior. So maybe not the cars, maybe it's the people.
Look, honestly, the biggest concern that I've had in building in these like double iPad screens in the cars is the level of distraction that comes with that opportunity to move your point of focus. And I don't know whether that's the truth here. I don't think it probably doesn't have to do anything with autonomous driving or like any of that. It's probably the opposite. It's probably that the distraction or the point of focus has moved to something that we're more native to moving to. And that's my biggest worry here. And so, and then you look at like, who's the close follow? Both car manufacturers that have increased the screen size of all of their technology and built screens that go all the way across.
Insightful.
So just think about that.
Because I was thinking, I mean, it probably doesn't hurt either that, these things are lightning fast, right? And maybe people tend to drive them a little more aggressively, but the combination of those two things is a very bad recipe, right? The faster you go, the faster the overcorrections. So it'll be interesting to look at that and see, and maybe we can learn a thing or two on the way through here. Last but not least, the post-pandemic hiring landscape is revealing a sharp slowdown in tech roles, with oversupply, automation, and changing priorities, leaving many professionals facing a white-collar recession. White-collar roles like IT, engineering, and marketing fell 20 to 32% in the last 5 years, and AI tools like ChatGPT have enhanced productivity, reducing the need for new hires with things like coding, copywriting, etc. Sectors like healthcare, they bucked the trend. They increased hiring by 10% to address burnout and staffing shortages. Job openings now receive an average of 222 applicants, nearly 3 times as many as at the end of 2021.
Wow. So actually what you're going to want to go do is sign up for autoindustry.ai first.
Perfect.
Second, you're going to want to read the article that Ben Hadley has on Auto Industry.
I think we just lost your microphone, if you can hear us. Okay, Kyle doesn't realize we lost his microphone. He's going to keep talking. There you go. Okay, Ben Hadley. He wrote an article. Yes.
There you go. So he wrote an article, and in that article is a screen grab of Stack Overflow and its comparison to when ChatGPT launched. Stack Overflow is a developer resourcing portal that developers can go in, ask questions. How are you doing this? How do you unfix this? And basically, the day that ChatGPT 4 rolled out, like the monthly and daily active users have been plummeting on Stack Overflow because everybody's moving to utilizing GPT for that. So like that's just a microcosm of all these other roles that are getting enhanced by AI. The question is can that actual marketer keep up? Because I'm talking to a bunch of people here at MRC that are going, hey, look, even with all the tools, someone has to use them.
Absolutely.
And we still are under capacity. So don't take this as an opportunity to let go of marketers, lean in and give them more access to actually moving faster. That's the better move.
Hey, we're trying to prep you for doing that. Kyle mentioned it. We have a new newsletter called autoindustry.ai to help you be the smartest one on AI. You can be the one that gets to use all the other tools, make all the money, have all the friends. We will see you here tomorrow morning. Leave the